All right, here we are. Hey, how are you? Welcome. No matter where you are and what time you're watching this, live or in the replay, I hope you're winding down, right? I hope you are winding down from what? From like a long, hard-earned day, because that's what I'm imagining. I'm imagining that you have had a hard-earned day doing what you do. It's the end of the day here for me, in the empty nest household that I exist in right here. Now, I'm thinking that you are looking for a change, right? Maybe you're starting a new career chapter, or you're adding an additional source of revenue to your family budget. No matter what that change is, change requires more than a resume, right? More than the right resume. And so today we are going to talk about the 3 keys that you need to secure that next career adventure. So we're going to dig into the importance of owning why you want to make that change in the first place and why there's power in that. We're also going to talk about the right way to network, because there actually is a wrong way to do that networking, and networking is key to this next stage. We're also going to talk about why leaning into what makes you different is going to be that secret sauce to getting you to that new opportunity. So, welcome to Launch Your Business Live, where we make making money online clear, simple, and successful, so you can build wealth and independence, work from home, and turn your part-time business into a full-time income. Now, my name is Maryann Lombardi. I am the founder and CEO of Maryann Lombardi Coaching. I am an author. I am the single parent of the coolest teenager on the planet and a bunch of fur babies. Well, not a bunch of fur babies, 2 babies, one of them who is literally sitting on my feet right now. I have been helping small business owners thrive for 20 plus years, and my mission is to do the same for you. So let's jump right into this and talk about that first key, knowing your why. Knowing your personal reason behind the change you want to make is key, right? And it's important to distinguish between other people's reasons and your own, because you are the one who is ultimately making that change in your career, in your life, in your income, and you're the one that change is going to fall on. So you need to know why the heck you're doing it in the first place. Now, as you know, there are going to be a lot of people out there who are going to tell you what to do, or more rightly, tell you what not to do. They're going to tell you how, they're going to tell you when. We've got bosses, principals, parents, school boards, the media, let's not forget them, peers, partners, kids, there's a lot of people out there telling you what you should and should not do. And sometimes it's hard to focus on what you want over all that noise, right, of everyone else's opinions. But it is important to do so. Some of those people are going to mean well. Well, I should probably say a lot of those people are going to mean well. Hopefully, many of them are going to mean well, but they are ultimately seeing your choices through their own lens. They're filtering it by what makes them the most comfortable. This doesn't make everyone an asshole. It just makes them human. Now, some are assholes, but most of them are going to be human. So, because we are independent beings and interdependent beings at the same time. So our choices impact our lives and other lives to varying degrees. So that doesn't mean that we stop doing what we want. It just means that we need to know what we want so we can make better choices. We can advocate for those choices and explain them when we need to, explaining what we want, right? So that first key to that change, to that new career, to bringing on an extra income, any of that is to understand why it matters to you in the first place. Why do you want to do it? The second key is all about networking, because there is a wrong way to network, but networking is essential to this process. Now, it's important to note that networking is about connecting with other people with an intent to further a long-term or short-term goal. It is not the same thing as building friendship. That doesn't mean that friendship can come out of it, right? Like, friendship may come out of that. I've made a lot of friends out of the networking that I've done, but that is not necessarily the intent. So network is also an active activity, not a passive one. So it requires intention and action. The intention is the why you're networking in the first place. And then the action is how best to accomplish that why. Okay. So if you're looking for a new career, for example, maybe in ed tech, right? You're going to take a different kind of action than if you are looking to build a side income in, say, the homeschool market, right? So the people who can help you in ed tech are going to be different than the people who can help you in this homeschool space. So if you're looking to help families as a writing tutor during application season for extra income, right? So you can work from home, you're going to network differently than if you are looking to work at a corporation in instructional design. So it's important to keep that in mind when you are networking. So to network effectively, you're going to need to know what you want out of the networking activity, right? With that intention, what is the intention that you want? And this is going to lead you where you find the right people. So, because your time matters, and it's more important for you to have 2 quality conversations with people that can actually get you where you want to go in that networking process than to have 15 random ones because you weren't intentional about how you were networking. And those random conversations, those ones, you've had them, right? Where you leave not knowing why you talked to that person in the first place. They have no expertise in what you're looking for. They don't know anyone that they can introduce you to. And it's possible that they hit on you, right? So it's just not necessarily a useful amount of your time. So being intentional is really key. The second thing about networking is you need to understand what you bring to the conversation, right? What is your skill? What is your pitch? What is your story? Right? This is super important. What is your story? And we're going to talk a little bit more about that in a couple minutes because it's wildly important. And then the third thing about networking is what is your ask? The person you were speaking with, depending on the quality or the nature of that conversation, you will want to have an ask. So, for example, at the close of a conversation, you might say, wow, this was a really great conversation. Thank you so much for your time. Is there anyone else you think I should speak to who would be interested in our conversation? And if they say, oh, yeah, I was talking to so-and-so the other day and we had a similar conversation, you guys might hit it off. It might be worth having a conversation with them. You follow that up with, that's wonderful. Do you mind making an introduction, right? That's an example of a call to action, and if they're helpful and if it was a really good, mutual conversation, after you can also ask and follow up with, is there anything that I can do for you to further your goals, right? It doesn't have to be one-sided. It doesn't have to just be about you networking with somebody else. Networking is a 2-way street. So you can also ask them, how can I help you further your goals? So relationships are the name of the game. Making them, building them, keeping them, being someone other people see as engaged and active and a contributor to a team puts you ahead of everybody else. And it makes you someone people want to be around. So when they're thinking of somebody to join a team, somebody to recommend to somebody else, they're going to be, oh, you know what, Jamie? Jamie was so cool. We had this great conversation. She had this really intuitive idea. I think that she'd be a good person for you to talk to. Okay. And you don't know that until you start networking. So networking is the second key. The third piece of this key is getting beyond your resume, is to know what makes you different, not what makes you the same. What makes you different is the thing that's going to make you a good candidate. It's the thing that's going to make you a good small business owner. It's the thing that's going to attract people to you. So earning a side income or getting a new job requires you to be less like everyone else and for you to lean into that stuff that makes you you. So you got to get to know what those are, right? There's a lot of focus on getting the right skills and the right training and then translating all those skills, from teaching, from education into corporate version of that skill. And I get it, right? That is fine up to a point. But one of the downsides to that, if you only focus on that, is that it just makes you like everybody else. And if everyone else has a resume that looks the same Everyone else has a resume with the same language, with the same skills. How does anybody stand out in a wildly competitive marketplace? Because as you know, as you're searching, it's kind of competitive out there. And as teachers and educators, you are leaving an industry that has asked you to conform, right? It's asked you to meet legal standards, to meet testing standards, curriculum standards. There's a lot of people who are telling you to fit a mold. And you're moving into a process, an interviewing process, a freelancing process, a starting a business process where your success on this depends on your ability to stand out, not to conform, right? So it's important for you to get to know you. You are your most important asset. Everything is crowded. There is noise everywhere. So you need a way to cut through that noise. And some of that will be your skills. Some of that will be how you package it. I'm not saying your skills don't matter, but just having those skills is not enough. You are the intangible, right? You are the thing that is the most important piece of that. So how you deploy those skills, how you package those skills with other talents, how you function beyond those skills, this is what makes you successful at your next adventure. This is what makes you the kind of person that somebody wants to bring into their team. Because as the data is showing us, the future of work is about how things come together, right? It's about broad, not as much about narrow and specific, right? It's about finding how things connect. It's about creative thinking. It's about problem solving, right? And that requires you to take all of that pretty kick-ass stuff that you already know how to do because you have done it and package it in a way that makes you unique. So take the time to get to know who you are, right? Start to shape your story. Step back and kind of look at the big picture of your life and your experiences and your skills and practice telling that story to somebody, right? If you got locked in an elevator, well, let's not say locked in an elevator because that's like traumatic. But say you were in an elevator riding up and you had 15 floors. What is that thing that you would tell somebody? And it's not, I'm a teacher, right? Because you are more than a teacher. We are all more than the jobs that we do or have done, right? We are fully fledged human beings with all sorts of shit we can do and big stories in our life. So who are you? Right? What would you tell them? Yes, you're a teacher. Yes, you've taught. But what brought you to teaching? Why did you love it? Why do you want to get out of it? What is it you're looking for? What is your passion? What is the future? Right? Start thinking about those things because that's the story that's going to help people remember who you are as you wrap your skills inside of it. Okay. So what we've touched on today is the importance of owning why you want to make the change in the first place and making sure it is your why and not somebody else's why. We also talked about the right way to network, setting an intention and then taking that action. So you're not wasting your time in networking. Okay. Because your time is limited and you want it to be fruitful and focused. And then we also talked about why you are your most important asset in this process. So leaning into what makes you different is the thing that is going to help you succeed. So as you leave today, I want you to think about that why part, right? Like just muse on it a little bit. Focus on the future and ask yourself, what does leaving your job allow your life to be? What does adding that extra income stream to your family budget allow your life to be? So sit with that a little bit this week and see where that leads you. And if you have any questions about any of this or you want to talk further about it, DM me and we can hop on a call, right? If you have a topic or a question that you'd like me to cover, DM me that as well, right? Because we can talk all about it. And I think I'll probably do one of these on networking, like deeper, because man, that's a nut, the whole networking process. So again, muse on that. What does leaving your job allow your life to be? What does adding that income stream allow your life to be? See you next week. Thank you for being here.